I'm gonna break down 5 visual effects techniques that I did for my latest music video I directed for Fwango. Let's get into it. So this shot right here is a fun one. It's just him sadly going through the day. Something you might not know is that this entire thing is CGI, besides him. So he is on a green screen right here. So I just have a portable green screen I popped up in my living room. I did all of the background stuff in Blender. Most of the stuff was just models that I found online, but I did make this little front piece. I made this custom logo neon sign in the back. And I think the key to this is this little front bit here, and I have that subtle reflection in front, and that really makes you think like, oh, this is a real place. I also tried to match as best as possible the lenses that we use, the Remus, the Blazar Remus 1.5 anamorphics, and it has really weird characteristics, like the sides really blurry and stuff like that. I used something called a radial blur in After Effects on the edges, just to really make that look good. For the time change stuff, it was really simple. I just had him stand in one position for a little bit and then change to a different position, and then I cut those up. The cup changing colors was pretty easy. I just masked out the cup and then I changed it to whatever color I wanted to have. And then to change the time, I just changed the light's animation rotation really quickly, and it makes it look like the time is changing, especially with adding that clock in the background to make it look like it's moving throughout time. So this shot right here is actually kind of simple, and I actually did it all inside of Davinci. So it was all using just stuff found inside of Davinci. So it's a very simple setup. It's just film him one plate here, then have him get up, film a plate here, film a plate here, and then film a plate here, and then have him film a plate with his feet up and then tilt down. Pretty simple. So all I did was in Davinci, I just using the basic masking tools inside the color tab, created little alpha masks and feathered the masks and stuff like that. And I used the magic mask to mask around him here to get the guy right behind him. And that's one way to make it seem less like a super easy effect. One of my favorite things we did here, we have this shot here, so it cuts to his feet up and then it tilts down. But because it was a really small crew, I didn't have any focus pullers. So what I did was first film it, tilt down, so I had the focus on his feet, and then down here he was out of focus. So then I grabbed focus, I went back up, and then I tilted it down again with the focus, and then I blended the shots together, and you can see that split happen right here. There's just a little bit of a fade that I added between the two shots, and it worked just fine. In motion, you don't even notice it.
Turn off the lights, I think I'll be just fine in the morning time. Really eludes me, and lately peace has been so hard to find. Give me low light.
So this shot right here is one of my favorite shots in the entire thing, and it was one of the first shots that I thought of when we came up with this concept. The whole concept of the music video is that he's playing Guitar Hero. And it was really fun because I got to animate the actual fake Guitar Hero backing. I had to animate each character and then add a crowd and a stage, and then also add the real life notes to make the fake UI for the Guitar Hero thing. This is actually one of the most challenging parts of the project. So I used this software called Moonscraper, and you could add notes and actually make it work with the song. It's like what people actually use to make custom Guitar Hero tracks. And so I went in and I did the whole song, and then what I did was I just screen recorded this, cut this out, and then set this to an add mode over top of the render, and it looks like that. And that's all I had to do. It wasn't very complex. It actually took really long to like go in and make it work with the song and everything, but it was a really fun side quest. The characters were all just basic stuff I found on Mixamo.com. I think they're all just like basic bland characters from Mixamo, and I didn't try to find new ones because I thought it would be kind of funny that they are stock, and it's kind of adds to the jank of the whole project. I just gave them basic animations. Mixamo has like people playing guitar and people playing drums and stuff. So I just took that, and the only thing I had to do was animate his head and his mouth. So I just went in Blender. You can click a button that automatically records what you're doing when you're playing, and so you can go in, and so I just had the song underneath, and I just sort of moved his head and bobbed it like he was singing it, just in one take. Nothing crazy, like I didn't go that hard. His mouth movement is just one blend shape. That's his mouth closed and then his mouth open. I hooked that up to a bone object, and basically to move his mouth, I just moved the bone up and down with that automatic keyframing to make his mouth animate and move, and I just lip synced it as best as I could, and I did it all in one take. It was pretty great. The crowd, I used a crowd simulation software called Procedural Crowds. It's a Blender add-on that you can use. So the shot kind of turns around here and then goes over, and then it reveals him behind the screen. I thought that was really cool because you kind of enter the screen here. So it pushes in, and then I push in with the camera in Blender. And then I had to really nail this sort of push around his head here, and then it reveals him on the couch. So him on the couch, basically, all I had to do to make this work, to not make it feel like it was a cutout, was separate him. So I masked him and the couch out. So this is its own layer. And then the background is its own layer back here. And then what I did was I animated them moving a little bit. So this one is kind of moving more to the left, to sort of match that sort of it coming around, to match that like 3D look, and not make it look like I just plopped a 2D cutout of this in After Effects and called it a day. And then it pushes in, and it's really cool. It's a really cool shot. Honestly, probably the most complex shot in the entire piece, because there's a lot of moving parts. So this shot right here is one of my favorite shots that we got to do. This was actually a reshoot because we didn't get it in the initial day. This was really easy. So first I put the camera up on a C-stand as high as it can go, and I also have him, and you don't really notice it, but he is actually on his knees on the ground. You don't notice it in the shot because it's such a quick shot, but his legs are kind of back here, but they're under the couch, so you don't really notice that he's on his knees. But that was just to get the maximum height on his hat, because we're shooting much wider. So he is, the hat is probably like this small in like the frame. It's probably like this small in the frame. And I'm shooting much wider so that we can rotate and post. So the camera is stationary, and all I did in After Effects is I used the 2D point tracker, tracked this point, and I tracked this point, and then I followed it, and then it tracked it, and I used the stabilize motion in After Effects, and it made for a really cool shot. I also shot this non-anamorphic, so this was a spherical shot, so you needed as much information to do the rotation. That's why we needed to be as wide as possible, because you need information on the corners and the sides to really rotate it properly. And honestly, I didn't even have enough information. I'm clone stamping over here to make the carpet a little longer, to make it work. those shots that you kind of have to do just a bunch of takes of, and hopefully you get 2 takes that work well together. So I was on a DJI Ronin gimbal, and basically we made sure to have him in the same spot in the room. So we put a little T on the ground that he would stand in, and he also remembered to land this one position at this shot and then to this shot. So he's in relatively the same position. The thing is, I'm not going that fast with the gimbal, and I'm going around and trying to smoothly move around and circle him. And then we wait until nightfall and then set up the lighting and had the whole band there. And we just did the other side. So we just moved around him, and I landed in relatively the same spot to make that shot look really fun. So the transition is pretty simple. I just tried to use his back to transition it so the transition would feel real natural. I just like a really simple thing like Alfred Hitchcock did in Rope. It's not groundbreaking. But because I did this slower, so I'm going like way slower than this, I added motion blur to the shot, and that really makes it look less fake. I added fake motion blur using pixel motion blur in After Effects, and it was pretty simple. And I love this lighting here, and the Remus lenses, with the anamorphic here, and having the pink and the blue, which is matching the game world, because he's finally like entranced himself in the game world, which is really fun. Then I just faded on. I thought it was really funny. I faded on the game thing for his solo at the end, which I thought was really cool. And that was just the same Moonscraper software that I used to do that. That was it. Thank you for watching. Please go check out the actual music video. It's actually a lot of fun. It's one of the most fun I've had on set making. So go check that out in the description or right here. Or if you don't like music videos, go check out another video where I break down another effect, a brain effect, if you will, because I'm a brainiac. All right, I'll see y'all later on the flippity.